How well do you really know the people closest to you? Could the person you trust most hide a darkness beyond imagination? She thought she knew him, the father of her child, the man she once loved. Friends said they'd moved on, that it was over. Yet on a night that should have ended with safety and peace, her life was snatched away, while loved ones watched in horror. He mingled among mourners, shook hands with those offering condolences, all while harboring a chilling secret. How does someone wear the mask of grief so perfectly when they are the very reason those tears are being shed? What drives a person to such a cold and calculated betrayal? Could the signs have been there, hidden in plain sight, waiting for someone to notice before it was too late? And now, the question that lingers like a shadow. If the ones we fear the least can inflict the deepest wounds, who can we really trust? Welcome to True Crime Acts, where we look into the hidden truths behind some of the most chilling real-life events. Our mission is to uncover the stories that shock, educate, and spark change, reminding us that behind every headline is a victim, a family, and a ripple effect felt by an entire community. If you find this journey as important as we do, don't forget to like, subscribe, and click the notification bell to ensure you never miss another gripping exploration into the depths of human behavior. Like the perfect couple, until the truth shattered everything. Jenna Wallace, a devoted mother with dreams of a peaceful family life, believed she had found stability with Marcus Reed. They shared a child, exchanged vows of loyalty, and projected the image of a loving partnership. But behind the carefully curated snapshots and friendly neighborhood appearances, tension simmered beneath the surface. Friends noticed Marcus's controlling nature, subtle at first, isolating Jenna from certain friends, making decisions for her, but soon escalating into verbal outbursts and public arguments. Neighbors recalled hearing raised voices through the walls, moments Jenna dismissed as normal couple disagreements. Yet those closest to her sensed the relationship was far from healthy. Her sister, Lila, confided to police after the tragedy. She wanted to leave him, but something always held her back: fear, guilt, maybe hope that things would change. Jenna's attempts to reclaim her independence were met with resistance. Marcus manipulated her emotions, using their child as leverage. "Do you really want to break up our family?" he would say, wrapping his possessiveness in the guise of devotion. Friends urged her to seek help, but Marcus's charm to outsiders and calculated threats behind closed doors created an inescapable trap. Then came the day that would change everything. The day Jenna finally decided to leave. Plans were made, bags were packed. She thought she could quietly slip away, protect her child, and start fresh. What she didn't anticipate was how far Marcus was willing to go to ensure she never left him. How do you spot the fine line between love and possession before it's too late? And when someone refuses to let go, what lengths will they go to in order to maintain control? What began as subtle possessiveness morphed into constant surveillance. Jenna's friends described how Marcus's calls and texts flooded her phone. If she was out for too long, accusations would follow. "Who are you with? Why didn't you answer right away?" Slowly, her social life diminished. Friends' invitations declined. "He just doesn't like when I go out," she'd say, brushing off concerns. But the isolation wasn't just social, it was emotional. Marcus controlled finances, scrutinized her spending, and even dictated what she wore. He'd compliment her in public but criticize behind closed doors, leaving her in a constant state of confusion. "He says he loves me, but I never feel good enough," Jenna confided to her best friend weeks before her death. Police reports later revealed disturbing patterns: arguments escalating over trivial matters, Marcus's increasing paranoia, and Jenna's growing fear. In private, she started seeking information about restraining orders but hesitated. "He always finds out," she said in a recorded phone call with her sister. "I don't know how, but he does." The tension reached a boiling point during a family gathering when Marcus publicly berated her for flirting with an old friend. Embarrassed and exhausted, Jenna began making serious plans to leave. But leaving a man like Marcus wasn't just about packing bags. It was about survival. When possessiveness escalates to obsession, how do you escape someone who believes they can't live without you and is willing to prove it in the worst way possible? Jenna's decision was final. She contacted a women's shelter, coordinated with her sister to stay elsewhere, and began hiding away important documents. To outsiders, everything seemed calm. Marcus even posted photos on social media, family dinners, smiling selfies with captions like "Family First," painting a picture-perfect narrative. Behind closed doors, however, the atmosphere was thick with volatility. Jenna noticed Marcus becoming eerily kind in the days leading up to her planned departure, cooking dinner, buying flowers, offering heartfelt apologies. Maybe he's changing, she momentarily wondered, but deep down, fear gnawed at her. Was this remorse or a calculated act? Her doubts were confirmed when she found Marcus rifling through her phone late one night. "What are you hiding?" he demanded. Panic surged through her. Plans to leave had to be accelerated. She whispered to her sister, "It's happening sooner. I can't wait anymore." But Marcus wasn't blind to her growing distance. A neighbor later told police he had this look, like he knew something was coming and he was just waiting. That calm facade, it turned out, was nothing more than a pause before the storm. Can the most dangerous moments be hidden behind kindness? And how do you distinguish genuine change from a predator's final act of control? March 14th started like any other day, but for Jenna, it was her escape plan's culmination. Her sister Lila was scheduled to pick her up that afternoon. Jenna kissed her child's forehead, exhaling a breath that felt like hope. "One more day," she whispered, but Marcus had sensed the shift. Around noon, Jenna received a call, his voice unusually calm. "Let's talk, one last time, for our family." Against her better judgment, she agreed. 15 minutes, she texted Lila. "Then I'm out." They met in the driveway, public, safe, she thought. Neighbors later reported seeing Marcus embrace her, whispering in her ear. Jenna's posture stiffened, then softened, perhaps believing for a fleeting second that closure was possible. And then the world fractured. A single, echoing gunshot broke the quiet afternoon. Jenna collapsed, her child's cries piercing the air. Marcus stood over her, gun in hand, expression devoid of emotion. Police, responding to prior welfare calls, arrived just moments too late to stop what had already unfolded. How can someone claiming love become the ultimate harbinger of death? And why are final goodbyes often the most dangerous moments in abusive relationships? Shock turned to outrage as Marcus attended Jenna's funeral, embracing grieving family members, shedding crocodile tears, and offering condolences for the tragedy he orchestrated. "He hugged me," Jenna's aunt recalled. "I felt sick. He stood there like he wasn't the reason we were burying her." Even as investigators closed in, Marcus played the grieving partner. Media outlets captured images of him placing flowers on her casket. Behind the scenes, detectives worked tirelessly to secure the evidence needed for an arrest. Within days, charges were filed. Marcus's mask cracked during his arrest, calmness dissolving into rage. "She ruined everything," he reportedly screamed, contradicting the composed mourner the world had just seen. But one question haunted everyone. How could he publicly mourn a woman he killed, standing over her grave with the same hands that pulled the trigger? What drives a killer to grieve a victim they created? Guilt, manipulation, or a final twisted act of control? Detectives quickly unraveled the facade Marcus had so carefully crafted. His claims of reconciliation with Jenna proved false, as forensic evidence and phone records painted a different story. A man desperate to maintain control. One message from Marcus read, "If I can't have you, no one will." Neighbors and friends were interviewed, each recounting unsettling observations. "He always watched her," one neighbor said. "Even when she was just taking out the trash, he'd be there, arms crossed, just staring." Another revealed that Marcus had spoken weeks prior about things coming to an end soon, hinting at a sinister plan. Forensics linked Marcus's fingerprints to the murder weapon, illegally obtained and hidden in his car's glove compartment. Surveillance footage from a local convenience store captured him purchasing bullets just days before the shooting. Court records further revealed that Marcus had previously threatened Jenna when she attempted to leave, but fear and manipulation silenced her. Tragically, the warnings were there, missed or overlooked until it was too late. How many red flags must wave before action is taken? And why do so many victims feel trapped in silence, even as danger looms? Marcus pleaded not guilty, claiming Jenna's death was an accident, a claim met with outrage. The prosecution presented damning evidence, threatening texts, witness testimonies, and ballistic reports proving intent. Jenna's sister, Lila, took the stand, voice quivering as she recounted Jenna's final words. "He won't let me go." The defense painted Marcus as a troubled man, pushed to the edge, arguing that his actions stemmed from emotional turmoil. But the jury saw through the performance. Witnesses described Marcus's manipulative nature, detailing how he isolated Jenna from support systems. One friend testified, "She wanted to leave, but she was scared. He knew how to make her doubt herself." The prosecution's closing argument echoed in the courtroom. This wasn't a crime of passion. This was premeditated. Jenna tried to escape, and Marcus made sure she never would. Can justice truly be served when no verdict can bring back the life stolen or heal the wounds left behind? Marcus was sentenced to life without parole. Outside the courthouse, Jenna's family spoke through tears. "We got justice, but it won't bring her back. Her children will grow up without their mother. That's the real tragedy." Jenna's story sparked widespread conversations about domestic violence. Advocates pushed for stronger protective measures and better resources for victims trying to escape controlling relationships. A local organization established a fund in Jenna's name, providing shelter and support for women in abusive relationships. Her sister Lila said, "If we can save just one person because of her story, then she didn't die in vain." How can society break the cycle of domestic violence when so many victims remain unseen until tragedy strikes? While the media spotlight faded, the impact on Jenna's children remained profound. Her oldest, now aware of the tragedy, asked questions no child should. Why did Daddy hurt Mommy? Therapists worked tirelessly with the family to provide some semblance of normalcy. Jenna's sister became their guardian, determined to honor her memory. "They'll know who she was, the love she gave, not the violence that took her," she vowed. For those left behind, healing was slow, but possible. Jenna's legacy became a catalyst for change, sparking dialogue about recognizing abuse's early signs and the importance of intervention. How do we support the children left in the aftermath of such violence and ensure they aren't defined by the tragedy that stole their parent? Months after the trial, community leaders introduced Jenna's Law, legislation aimed at improving victim resources and enforcing stricter penalties for domestic violence offenders. Survivors spoke at the bill's signing, each carrying a piece of Jenna's story. Her name became a symbol, not just of tragedy, but of resilience and the urgent need to protect those in danger. Vigils, awareness walks, and social media campaigns ensured her story wouldn't fade. Jenna's life, though tragically cut short, sparked conversations and actions that saved others. Her family found solace in knowing her death wasn't in vain, that through awareness and change, fewer families would endure such loss. How many more voices must be silenced before we act? And will you be part of the change that prevents the next tragedy? Evil doesn't always wear a mask. It can sit beside you at dinner, smile in family photos, and stand at the front of a funeral procession pretending to grieve. This story is more than a chilling crime. It's a reminder that betrayal can hide in plain sight. We owe it to the victims to recognize the signs, speak up when something feels wrong, and protect those who might not see the danger until it's too late. How many more stories like this must we hear before we act? If this case moved you, don't let it end here. Join the conversation, share your thoughts in the comments, and be part of a community determined to expose the darkness hiding in plain sight. Like this video to spread awareness. Subscribe to True Crime Acts for more stories that challenge what you thought you knew. Click the notification bell so you never miss a case that could save a life. Because sometimes the scariest stories are the ones closest to home. Stay vigilant, stay aware, stay safe.